What's up, everybody? It's Jojo Alonso from iHeart's 105.3 The Beat, and we are here at the Dunkin Music Lounge. Hey, Kodak, how are you doing? We're here for the International Women's Month conversation, and we have some beautiful, powerful Black women in the building with us today. Okay, so we have Tasha, Belle. Hi. We have Santia, Deck. Courtnay, Nicole. Hello. And baby Jade. Okay, we are in the build. Okay, listen. So we are just having a conversation, International Women's Month conversation. Ain't no interview. We are vibing and we are just discussing, exactly what we have going on or what you ladies have going on and what you've been through, what you've accomplished and those things. So we're gonna go one by one. We'll start with Tasha and just give I ain't gonna say brief, but just let everybody know what you have going on.
It could be brief. It's okay.
You got a lot though. It may not be brief. Your resume like this.
I mean, it's not as long as you're making it seem. My name is Tasha Belle. I am a restaurateur. I own 3 restaurants in the city. You guys may or may not know them. Hopefully you know them.
I do.
What are they? Apartment 4B in Buckhead, Miss Icy's Kitchen in North Decatur, and Belle and Lily's right off of Chamblee Tucker Road. Those are my 3 babies. I am co-owner. I am the only woman on the team for 2 of these projects, and I have 2 other amazing women with me on Belle and Lily's. So, yeah, I like to say that we kind of influence the turn up in the city.
I would like to say that too.
Every once in a while.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Santia Deck, also known as Track Baby. And I'm an athlete. I play women's football. I also made history twice by becoming the first female athlete to own a shoe company, which is Toronto's. And then I was offered the highest contract in women's football. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I can say a lot more, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. So I'm an athlete that happens to be a serial entrepreneur.
Courtnay Cohen, but I like to be called Courtnay Nicole. I am a poet, singer, rapper, restaurant owner, and I have a ton of other merchandising businesses, event planner, and I am excited to be here. And we're going to get in the conversation. I'll probably talk about a little more what I do, right?
Okay, yeah. We're going to get into it for sure.
Okay, my name is Jade, and the most, pertinent thing that I'm doing right now is I'm a co-host on the Big Facts podcast, but I also have my own company, the Abercrombie Group, and I do artist management, label consulting. We do events and parties, and I help construct companies and stuff like that. And I deal with a lot of artists and other celebrities doing different little things. So that's pretty much it about me.
Okay, well, let's hop on that, Jade. How did you get into managing artists? Because one thing I know when I came to Atlanta, it's like, baby Jade know everybody. She know everything. Don't play with baby Jade. So how did you get into the music side?
Okay, so basically, the way I got into music is when I was about 16 or 17, I used to get my nails done. But by this lady named Juice in the West End Mall. So when I used to get my nails done, she used to do all kinds of, my nails were out to here. I used to have $100 bills in my nails. I used to do all kind of crazy shit. I used to spend $200 or $300 every 2 weeks on my nails. So when I used to go around, people used to always ask me who does your nails, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So I used to always tell them, but then we kind of got the idea I was thinking why don't we do something with the nail shop? So me and her got together and we came up with the idea of promoting the shop, and we started doing flyers and things like that for the shop. But at the same time, we thought about what if we do create our own street team that we can use for our stuff, and we can sell the services to clubs and other businesses in the city to help promote them as well. But then we thought about it, what can we do to make our street team stand out from everybody else's street team? And we thought about it we're going to have an all-girls street team. So she put me in charge of the street team. I went to the CAU campus and recruited, I think it was maybe my first round was 10 or 11 girls. And I was kind of skeptical of how it was going to go because like I was like 17, and then all these girls were like in their 20s and shit, and I'm like, are these ladies people gonna listen to me, or you know what I'm saying, like how's it gonna work? But it actually worked out really well. We went on the road to different states, like doing parties and different things like that, and then from there we started the magazine. And when we started the magazine, I was the lead photographer in the beginning for the magazine, which meant that I had to go to the clubs and take pictures of the celebrities at the parties. And that's how I actually ended up meeting a majority of the people that I know through like the photography thing. And then we brought on Wong Valdez, who is the owner of Motion Family now. And he taught me like all the shit that I didn't know about cameras and all that kind of stuff. So from my relationship that I built being a photographer, I kind of like parlayed that into the company that I have now, and that's how I pretty much became successful.
Okay, so I noticed that you said that, you were 17 and they were like 20, 22. You're like, are they going to even listen to me?
Yes.
Did you guys ever experience anything like that, just being a woman, being in a male-dominated industry? Like, oh, they're not going to listen to me, or they're not going to take me serious, and we could just go, this way. Everyone can just share their opinion on that.
So personally, my male business partners call me a bulldog. I can't say that I've ever had an issue with people not listening to me. Thankfully, I remember growing up. I'm originally from St. Lucia in the Caribbean, and I remember growing up and being told, "Well, I didn't like you because of the way you walked," and I was just like, "Just sound like a you problem."
The way you walked?
I have very good posture, apparently.
Okay. Okay.
Right. And it wasn't because I was walking in any way. Like I just always stood, I've just always had really good posture. I was a dancer. But I think, right. Right. So it's like you have to, you have to, posture is part of your identity, right? So I kind of had that, but luckily I guess I could command attention without even having to raise my voice or saying do this and do that. I don't have to do that. And I do work with majority of my business partners are men. And I can say that I've been blessed to be with a group of men that are very respectful of me, of my opinions, my ideas, and just things that I put forth that they actually follow through with. And it's like, okay, Tosh, that sounds good. Let's try this. So thankfully I haven't ran into that just yet.
Okay. So we're not going to say just yet. We're just going to say not at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Santia, what about you? Because, you're a professional football player as a woman, and there aren't too many professional football teams for women. Mm-hmm. So what was that experience like?
It was pretty interesting because when I first went viral for being offered the contract, I had a lot of people that actually supported me, and they were like, "Oh man, this is gonna be just a big thing for women in sports, period, because you're getting this amount and this hasn't been done, and all these different things." But then I also had the men who did not want me to be in that space, and for whatever reason, everybody thought I was trying to play in the NFL, and I'm like, I'm 5'1". Barely 135 pounds, and I'm a running back. Like, what am I gonna do? But I had bloggers like just saying crazy stuff like she should be in the kitchen, she should be pregnant and buried, like just all these different, getting hateful DMs like, oh my God, you should go back to you should be a cheerleader. Why are you like all these different things, right? So I had a choice at that point to either let the noise, come in between what God had, destined me to do because of my journey to this point. Or I could just go out and make them more mad and continue to be more successful and open up the doors for other little girls that want to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I chose that route. So it's been interesting. And then getting even into my shoe company, being the first female athlete to own a shoe company, there were a lot of questions that I felt was unnecessary. And then even trying to get into like the champs and getting to athletes' feet and different things like that, there were a lot of people that were like, well, so who's above you? So who's helping you? And I'm like, oh, I'm the CEO. It's me and my mom. We're two women. We're two black women at that. So you're supposed to talk to us. And we would get the weirdest reactions sometimes. But it's just, honestly, I'm one of them people like, please doubt me, because I
Right.
can't wait to do this. So that was my whole, attitude towards everything. So yes, I had a lot of men that had a problem with what I was doing, but I also in the end, I feel like I had more men that were like, okay, we're rooting for you. We see what you're doing, we respect it. And my mom is also a bulldog, so she don't let nobody mess with me too. So I think having my mom helped as well. So
How did you get into playing football?
So I ran track all my life. I ran track from 7 to 23. So I went to Texas A&M on a full track and field scholarship. I thought I was going to the Olympics, so I realized like you got to be built a little bit different because them women they on something different, right?
Savage.
So so I was like, okay, I don't want to be done. Like I still want to be an athlete. And I was just driving one day randomly, and I saw a flag football tryout. And I have a twin brother. I grew up with boys. So I was like, okay, cool. I used to do this in the backyard. Like, let me just see what happens. And I went to a practice. The first practice, the coach was like, how long you been playing football? I was like, never. He was like, oh, we finna turn you up. And then next thing I know, like, I'm going viral on social media, getting opportunities to, do stuff with Nike and the Super Bowl and NFL. And all I can say is, like, you never know, like, why God puts you in certain positions, because I had a long, hard road to get to that point. But it paid off. Unfortunately, I was an adult, so I didn't have I still don't have a lot of time left, but I feel like it's more inspiring because I could have just said I was just the Michael Jordan. I just was so dope and I was doing all this forever, but I was always an underdog. I was always this close, and then I'll get injured, or this close to nationals, and I'll get injured, or whatever. So this was like, man, like I finally made it, and I got a story to tell too.
Right.
So yeah.
What? So okay, are you injured now?
Yeah, so I have a. Hold on, I feel like that was shade. I was like,
No, because I literally,
No.
I was an athlete. I ran track D1 as well. I went to Jacksonville State University. And I injured myself, and it was over with for me. I tore my ACL 3 times. And I was like, yeah, I ain't doing nothing. But I always wanted to play football. I know.
you just made my leg hurt.
Yeah,
man.
like my poor knee. But I've always wanted to play. I've always wanted to play football. But do you see there being a future for maybe college, like women's football?
So flag football is already in some NIAI schools.
Yeah, is it college or is it high school?
So it's sanctioned in a lot of college or in a lot of high schools right now.
Yeah.
But there are some colleges that are actually already getting flag football programs going. But what's the more exciting, and the reason why I'm gonna try my best to go back, is flag football is becoming an Olympic sport in 2028. So I'm trying to get on that road to the Olympics before I turn like 36.
I need
So
to
that's
train.
where I'm at. I'm saying,
Look, I'm rubbing my knee.
Yeah, and my
Yeah.
goal is to actually be the first person to create a football league where women get paid to play flag football.
So can I ask you a question? Okay. Because I don't know, I'm not really well versed on like the women's football, but are you playing in the league where they call it the Huns and the Buns, or
Oh, man.
or is that like something totally
I'ma be
different
real
from
with
what
you.
you're
I-
doing?
Like the
went-
lingerie league?
Yeah, but so
Yeah,
that
where
don't
they
even
wear
exist
like
no more.
boy shorts and
Right.
shit?
They do have that.
They do. So now they actually have them in sports bras and I think shorts. But I accidentally went to that league when I first got, because I didn't know. I was like, oh, they're playing tackle. And then they were like, okay, here's their uniforms. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, I'm over here speaking
I'm not a bottle
at
girl.
middle
Right.
schools and high schools. So no, I did, but I literally left in like a month. I was like, y'all doing too much.
I was gonna say, because that's crazy. Like, you just trying to play a sport, and now I gotta be out here with my booty cheeks out.
When I tell you, it was pretty much WWE of women's football.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't trying to talk about nobody.
Right,
People
right.
play, but it was a lot and it was degrading. And I was just like, there got to be something else. And there's actually like the league I played in was like fully padded, like pretty much like the dudes, like helmets, everything.
So isn't the honey buns or Huns and Buns, or I'm not, no disrespect to people, I just don't know.
She just don't know what it
But
is.
like, isn't the way that they're dressed, isn't the risk of injury higher because they're not properly covered?
Let me tell you something. There was girls out there getting clotheslined and punched in the face. I had a friend who got clotheslined. Her whole face was bleeding. And the coach was like, go back. You'll be all right, go back. Because they want viewership. So it had to be what it was. And I'm watching
kind of like reality TV.
Yeah, basically, but
like,
with no
literally,
clothes
they'll
on.
tell you like, okay, it's halftime. I need y'all to go grab beers and go and pour beer on your boobs and
What?
like they was literally doing that stuff. Wait a minute. Let me stop talking for it.
No, because these are the conversations that we need to know, because these are things that, you know, some people don't know.
Because like because I know like a lot of times when you say women's football, that's the only thing that is like, well, I'm not gonna say it's the only thing that's broadcast, but it's like that's the most prevalent because
that's what
of
you think.
the
Right, that's what
controversial
I think.
aspect of it. So a lot of
Lingerie.
people think
Yeah.
that's what women's football
You think
is.
lingerie league?
And that's what makes me so mad. And that's why I'm trying my best to do what I can to, you know, bring more light to like actually what's happening in football. And thank God that league is no longer a thing. But it's hard. Like the marketing, trying to, you know, the team trying to get sponsorships and endorsement deals is very hard. So that's what I feel like the leagues are struggling with right now. But there has to be a change. And again, there's women that have been playing 12 years and haven't been paid $1.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, how is that?
So what they playing for at this point? They playing with they self at this point. I'm just saying.
No comment.
Okay,
That's all I'm gonna say.
Courtnay, so I know we've been bouncing back and forth, but has there ever been like a situation where people have been doubting you or because you are a female in anything that you've done?
I mean, you know, you ladies rep in Atlanta, and I'm in South Carolina, and it's much smaller. So to make the type of noise I make, it gets a lot of people's attention. And being a female, I get hated on by the boys all the time, and not because of anything other than why is it her and not. You know, they will literally link up and do events together. Just
to
you.
spite you.
Try to outdo
So
you.
it's just like it's annoying, but it's something that I take in stride. Like, hey, you know, I must be doing something right.
Absolutely.
I got a dope dad who is at every single event. My dad does not miss an event. He actually started a company from my event. You know, I do events, and he started an event rental company because he was like, "This is ridiculous." You know, I'm doing an event. I think erotic poetry might have been doing like 1,500 people. Oh, wow. So renting tables and chairs for these auditoriums, he was just like, "Nah, we're not doing that no more." Yeah. And so my dad, you know, started an event rental company that does a ton of things now, but because of that. So I have an amazing father who supports me. But other than that, all the guys, you know, none of them rock with me. They respect me because they have no choice but to. Right. But as far as wanting to do business with me and things like that, I've never been called a bitch so much and embraced it, you know, because I don't have a problem with speaking my mind and saying what's up, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, at times, you just like, you know, you could have, your event might have done a whole lot better if you actually linked up, you know.
What about working together?
We got together.
exactly.
I could
But
probably
they will
help you make some more
literally
money.
team up with each other to sometimes not even do a fraction of what I do by myself. And it is what it is. You know, you take it with stride.
Either you get it or you don't got it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I just so happen to have it. Yeah. I ain't, you know, toot my own horn, but it is what
and
it
that
is.
comes, sometimes you got it or you don't.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can't have it and then not do nothing with it.
Facts.
So
Big facts.
that's a really big thing, and a lot of people can't respect somebody that's out there hustling, especially if she's a woman. No offense to the men that are paying attention to this right now, but it's true. It's true. Like like say I'll do something on social media, and I get drugged on social media all the time. But honestly,
It's okay.
Me too.
It's
Me too.
okay.
But to be completely honest, I get drugged a lot by a lot of men. A lot of times, I don't understand why, but I do. And I feel like lately I have been noticing a lot of women empowerment. I've been I don't know if it's the company that I'm around or the energies that I'm attracting, but or if just times have changed. But I feel like a lot of women are starting to support a lot of women, or they're actually trying to help them get better and move forward in things that they have going on.
I think we're in a season of, you know, collaborating with each other. We just understand that we're going to get more done together than we are going to get done separate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't even take social media hate that serious because it's social media. Like,
Right, that's true
people
too.
Pretend to
All the
say or
time.
be mad and try to destroy your character behind a computer, behind the click of a button. So that's whatever. But I
Yeah,
think
you
that
fake
we
brave
are
at this point.
Yeah,
Like-
fake brave. You know what I'm saying? But we are in a state where I think women just and if you don't get it yet, women better get it that we're just going to get more done together than we are separate because we run in the world already anyways.
Yes, exactly.
So let me ask you guys a question. Just kind of piggybacking off of what Jojo was talking about as far as like the women empowerment and, you know, all that kind of stuff. How do you guys feel about the women that feel like the women empowerment seminars and the mentorships and all that kind of stuff is a scam?
Well, I feel like personally, it's only a scam if you're not doing anything. If you're not doing anything with it, you know,
Yeah.
if you don't have a purpose of why you're doing certain things. Like I feel like sometimes it just look good and things like that, or it looks good for social media, or it sounds good. But if you actually have a purpose behind it, then that's good. And a lot of times you have a purpose behind things, and people don't know. Like, you know, I'm having a drive. You know, I'm having a drive. I'm collecting donations to drop off at a local women's shelter. But I'm not gonna go broadcast that to anywhere. Like, you don't know where I'm going. You know,
Right.
So I personally, that's what I feel.
Well, to some of the empowerment thing, I'm all for women empowerment, right?
Yeah, me too.
I love it. No, I love it. But there are the only thing I can say to kind of like answer your question is you just got to check the energy and the temperature of the person because some people do a lot for the hype of it. Some people do a lot to just to monetize off of. Because
Right.
it's trendy. You know, we are in a trendy season of women empowerment. Some of us are genuinely about it.
I ain't
and
never
some
seen
people
so
are-
many life coaches in my
Yeah,
whole life.
Listen,
Now that part.
my dude. You know, so it's just like it's so many people who want to cap off of the trend of women empowerment, and unfortunately, you just gonna have to check the temperature of their social media, you know, their energy that you can tell when it's genuine and when it's not. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people seeping through the cracks who are capping off of the trend of women empowerment, and it sucks. Y'all trash. I said it. And I do believe that, but I do believe in women empowerment. I love it, and I hate that some people will take something so dope and try and monetize, just strictly monetize
And
off
ruin
of
it.
and ruin it for people. And now we're skeptical about going to certain events, or
Right.
is somebody just trying to get my $5.99 for this, you know, so
Or
I
a
can-
vision board party or
Yeah, you know what I'm
saying some
Like,
shit like,
you know,
Yes.
like it's
Click the link.
overpriced and it doesn't make any sense. And I think that sometimes if I got something to pass on to you, don't understand. I understand that there is, you know, my knowledge is worth something to you, right?
Right.
But I do not think that, and this is just my personal plight, I could never rob somebody. I could never overcharge you
Right.
and underdeliver to you. You know what I'm saying? I could never sell something to you and just I'm just trying to make some money off of it.
Yeah.
I can't sleep at night like that. I ain't gonna feel good about it. But unfortunately, people be smarter. Women be smarter when you are attending these events, when you see them, know good and well that they just trying to make some money off it. And they're really not trying to push nothing but pockets and money in their pockets.
And not only that, right? That speaks to people's integrity or lack thereof.
Facts.
Speaks to your character. And it's even sadder because there are people who genuinely need help.
And
Like,
want that guidance.
right, and want that guidance. And it's not easy to ask for help.
Facts.
Right? It's not easy to like, I personally like, I'm it's always been hard for me to be like, yo, I need help with something.
Same.
Right? And it
Me
doesn't
too.
even matter the position, but it's like there are people who genuinely need that guidance because and if we're talking about Black women who look like us, there is not a lot for us to just pinpoint and be like, this is a dope Black woman doing something. We're not shown those images constantly. So when there is somebody who is in a position to help or saying that they're going to help and that person now becomes hopeful, like what do you do with that? So now this person now has lost trust in another woman that probably looks like them. It's just like, well, I came to you for help and this is what I ended up with. So, and I get it. It might be hard to figure out who's legitimate and who's not because a lot of things is smoke and mirrors, right? Like, especially if we're seeing it through social media and probably somebody reposted something. Like, it sucks. It sucks. And it's I could see how it could be hard to differentiate. Like, for me, I've been like, oh, I should do And then I'm just like, I feel like, why am I charging somebody who needs help with something?
Thank you.
If I could really just honestly have a conversation in something that might be super like simple. It may not even be anything crazy that I say, but for that person, it meant a lot. I'm like, if I could do that, just my presence of just existing, then I'll take that.
Time is money. You can't give it all away. You know
Right, absolutely
some
not.
people will run out, Now you got hundreds of people hitting you up, trying to get information, trying to get the game on whatever it is that you got to sell. So I do believe in putting something together that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But some people are just robbing people.
Yeah. How do you want to speak on it?
I mean, they covered it.
Okay.
I think just looking at the fruit that people are bearing, the fruit that people are bearing. So when you're going to these events, like, are you actually getting value? Have other people in the past got value? What does their life actually look like? What do they do outside of just this? What kind of character do they have? Like, all of that stuff, you just gotta have discernment. Because like you said, the smoke and mirrors is a real thing, especially on social media. But energy don't lie. So this person might be saying this and that, but okay, is their energy always like this? Or is when the cameras are on, this is who they are? So that's what I would say. So.
Growing up, I never really had, like, besides my mom, I'm speaking in like in my career. There wasn't really somebody, like a woman that's like me, that would help me, that helped me. Like, I needed a mentor. It was just, when I was in Chicago, I was doing radio in Chicago, and I was on for one day. And I just felt like I couldn't grow there. I was on Sundays, and that was it. But I knew that I was working hard, but it was nowhere for me to grow. Like, no one wanted to tell me the ins and outs of the radio. No one wanted to help me go to different events. Like, nobody wanted to do that. And I'm like, I can't just stay here. I need some help. I need a woman's perspective, someone who's been here before, someone to help me. Like, this is what you need to do. That's when I decided to get up and move to Atlanta. And once I got here, it's like, okay. And there were people that were actually trying to help me here. Like, okay, this is what you need to do. These are the people you need to know, and then I started to make my own, like, rub elbows with people and make my own connections. But I'm saying that to say that I fiend for a mentor for a very, very long time. Now I wouldn't say that I have a specific mentor, but I have so many different women that are in my life that I see all the time doing amazing things. Like, they don't even understand that they're pouring into my cup, not even knowing that they're doing it. They're doing it, like, not even intentionally, Yeah. So that being said, since I didn't have that, now I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, I want to help you, or I want to help you, or I don't have a problem with telling you, like, this is how it goes with radio, or this is what you need to do if you want to start a podcast. Things like that, because I honestly feel that there are younger women who need role models. They need support. And a lot of people aren't going to ask. Women, you know how we are. We don't want to go to another woman and, like, just, hey, can you help me? Maybe we do.
Expose our vulnerability, and then this lady is like, girl, catty, like, and then turns
And that's
it
the
down,
other
and then-
thing, right? There are people who generally are just like, well, why the hell would I tell you? Like, why not? Right. And I think
and then
even
I gotta end up on the next
Right.
episode of Snap.
right.
Like,
No, facts.
yeah, for
Because
real.
why you can't help me?
Right. And it's just like, but why not help me, right? And to your point, Jojo, you spoke about just, we're coming up and not having that image in. Let me backtrack. I grew up in a place where I had that, right? I grew up on an island where 98% of people are Black. They look like me. My teachers were Black. My sister had a law firm. My dad was a detective. Like, the people, but outside of my family, the people around me, the imaging on television and the media, they looked like me. So outside of being told that I could do whatever I want, subconsciously, that was also ingrained in me. When I moved to the States, I never understood what I would always hear, well, the system. And I never understood that because I did not grow up in a place where the color of my skin had bearing on my success. When I moved to the States, I didn't get it until like probably 3 years in. And I'm just like, even like little things, right? I remember watching TV, and I don't really watch TV anymore. I'm not a TV watcher for like the last 10 years of my life. I don't watch the news. I don't watch a lot of stuff, right? But one day I remember sitting watching television, and anytime there was a commercial with a black person, whether it was a man or a woman, but specifically the women, they never had on wedding rings. Anytime it was a different race, they were married, and it showed us an image of them being a wife in a home,
Or like a family unit.
in a family unit, right? So we
Family
have
unit.
right. So we we have all these subliminal messages that we don't even may not even realize as part of the conditioning, right? Of what you as a black woman are or are not. Like, you're not fit to be a wife, but you're not told that, but you're shown it, and subconsciously you taking that in, right? Because the media essentially controls a lot of how we behave, whether we like to admit it or not. And the part of it's just like an oppressive conditioning.
Yeah,
So-
I don't mean to cut you off, but me and my best friend were just talking about this, about like we were talking about relationships and family units and stuff like that. And we were talking about another thing about how like back in the day, the government used to offer the black women assistance with their children with the welfare and the WIC and the food stamps, but the only way that they would be able to receive that is if there was no male staying in the house. And that just is kind of like, now thinking about that today, like how divisive that was, it kind of like destroyed the family unit that is really a lot of the reasoning for a lot of the reason that the things are going the way that they're going now, because that foundation was broken. And yeah, that's just kind of, when you were talking about that with the commercials and, you know, the visibility and all that kind of stuff, that just kind of made me think about that. Like, that's crazy how it's a whole bigger picture to this stuff.
So when you guys do see stuff like that and realize, you know, what's going on, how do you deal with that? Like, do you just be like, okay, whatever, and I'm just going to continue to do what I do every day? Does it ever affect you emotionally? Does it ever bother you guys?
It's impossible for it not to affect you. You know, being black women, we are naturally nurturers. It's impossible for us not to want to save everybody and to want to help everybody.
And I believe that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so,
100,000
you know,
million %.
as an artist, you know, I write a lot of my emotions. I have the conversations with certain people, and you do all that you can do without exhausting yourself, because you also have to understand that this is a problem that you by yourself cannot fix.
Right.
So you are going to empathize. You are going to have moments where you cry, and you are just literally, because I come from something different. I came, you know, same thing, 2-parent home. My parents have been celebrated 40 years of marriage just the other day.
Me too.
You know? So,
Same.
you know, so
Okay.
so to see other people come up in the system, and not be told that they can be anything that they want to be, it is heartbreaking to me. I have an issue where I try to fix a lot of broken people. That's my personal plight, because I'm like, I
Same.
can only imagine.
Right, me too.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can only imagine how it feels not to have this type of reinforcement in a home. So I tend to date the wrong kind of men, you know, because I'm like, I
Ooh,
feel
child.
so sorry for you.
You
Ain't
want to
been loved
fix
right.
everybody.
You know,
Okay,
I wanna fix-
let me show you what
Don't
you're
be
supposed to be
Captain
doing.
Favorite.
I want to fix everybody.
I was just arguing about this.
But that is a thing, and it's just you empathize, but you also have to know that you cannot fix everybody. You cannot help everybody.
Took me a
without
long time to
hurting
learn that.
yourself,
Yes.
you know. So I write, and I have the necessary conversation sometimes, and I may throw an event or, you know, try to do something here and there, but I have to go to bed at night knowing I have done all that I can possibly do, and that's
Yeah.
all I can do.
So, okay, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
have a different point of view, because I grew up with my mom was pretty much a single mom,
Okay.
because she divorced my father when I was 1.
Well, I'm
And
a
then
single
she-
mom now.
Okay, yeah. So
I grew up in a single mom household too.
Okay, you did? Okay.
Okay.
So for me, like, I didn't see a healthy marriage until I was an adult.
Okay.
And my mom remarried and different things like that. And then that relationship was like, oh, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like.
Okay.
Because I dated the wrong man up until last year, to be honest.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And it was a journey, but I felt like, how can I change my outcome? I don't want to end up like this person. I don't want to end up like this person. So I have to do a lot of self-work. I have to go to therapy. I have to forgive a lot of people. I have to change my type. I have to do all these different things so that I could actually have what I wanted to, like what I was envisioning my life to be. And I feel like when we're going back to talking about the women empowerment events, I feel like those are the type of events that need to happen where we're actually getting to the root of where a lot of this trauma comes from, teaching these women and men how to avoid this, how to overcome it, because a lot of us, unfortunately, in our community, we don't see the two-parent home. And if we do, your mom would have went through hell, and she about a skeleton because she's still holding on because we got to stay together and all that different stuff. And I feel like there needs to be relearning in a lot of areas in our community. And I personally feel like it starts in the home. Because even though I've seen that stuff, my mom used to always be like, Santia, I know you see me doing this, but this is not normal. Do not be like me. And who knows if my mom would have never said that to me, I would still be probably making the same mistakes. But it took a lot for me to finally say, you know what? I'm going to take her advice, and I'm going to go to therapy because there's something going on with me. And I think accountability is a part of that as well that needs to happen so that people can actually move forward. But, man, there's so much I can say on this topic. Because when I tell y'all, I went through so much to get here. I went through so much.
Can you send me the link of what you had to do, girl? Because I'm trying to find it.
Well, let me say this.
Send a link, babe.
I started writing my Dear Future Husband post in 2016. When I tell you, everybody was like, you thirsty, you this, you that. I said, yo, like, I just feel like you never know where you gonna meet your husband. I met my fiance on Bumble.
Okay. Bumble.
You know what's crazy? Bumble. Write that down.
But it was a whole. Like,
I feel like I'm missing
mama was the
something. What
reason
is
I
it?
met him.
Dating website.
Yeah, it's a
I
dating
figured
app.
it was a dating app. I didn't.
It
It
I-
is, yeah.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be one of the better ones. But I don't know. They always say that. But
Yeah.
my
What
mama
you mean
was
you don't know?
Right.
You have a whole
No,
ring.
seriously.
It was a struggle on there for a while.
Right.
What I'm saying is, like, my mama was the reason why it even happened.
Okay.
Because she was like, let me look at your damn profile. You've been on here for this long. And
She might have said, this is not the right things to
Right.
say.
Say this.
She said, make it, because she met her husband on Zoosk or something.
Okay.
On a dating app?
Yeah, and then my twin met his.
Dating app, here I come.
But anyways, so
Right.
That all I'm saying is there's a lot that needs to happen with, like, in our community as Black women especially. And I feel like it's our jobs as the ones that are successful doing the things that, you know, we want to do and other women want to do. It's our job to reach back, pull them up and pour into them because you don't know who you saving.
Yeah.
So
But going back to your original question about what do you do when you see things like that, and like I said before, I never realized. Okay, so like Black excellence was a big thing. Like it became a whole slogan, and I was like, I don't get it until like I was like, well, now I do get it because that same conditioning I was talking about, we're not shown certain images of ourselves, right? I feel even in death, like we're still not respected. We're not. I will never ever repost or share the body of any Black dying person.
Right.
I refuse. I get that it needs to get out there. The what's the word I'm looking for? Like people
To
need
create the awareness
Yeah,
of
like
the
the
situation.
awareness, but I don't believe in showing us in that light because that just adds to, well, this is who you are. You're worthless. You don't really have value, even in death. Like you're just on the ground. Like I'm not doing that. If I show images of Black people, it's always we're having fun, we're laughing, we're dancing. And it's like you cannot steal our joy. So I'm not gonna add to that imaging of trauma. Right? Like you legitimately cannot tell me that we don't have PTSD from watching how we get treated.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not partaking in that. So what I do is I will show fun imaging of Black people in good places, whether it's somebody that was probably killed from police brutality. I show a picture of them smiling. I'm not showing a video of how they were
place.
treated. Like that is way too traumatic. We do not need any more trauma like that we need to go through. And yeah, just like show those positive images of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we're effing amazing.
And is.
You know? So yeah.
No, I agree with that as well. But I know like we all get tired sometimes and we're hardworking and people get on our nerves. They do. They do. And so I say that to ask, like, what are some things that you guys do to bring you back into yourself? Because I could see somebody and I know that they said something and deep down I'm like, I'm about to smack fire from this person, you know? And they just get you out of your whole body. But you got to tone it back down. So how do you get yourself back into that mentality? Like, okay, I'm not gonna let this person stop me. I'm not gonna let this person belittle me. I'm not gonna let them get to me.
Okay, so for me, what I do is I have to disconnect and recharge. So basically, I want to say maybe like once every 2 weeks, or sometimes once a week, or maybe every 3 or 4 days. However, whenever I feel like I need to do it, I'll go ghost. Like, I'll get rid of social media for like 24 hours. I'll go have a spa day. I'll go to the zoo, or I'll bake some cookies, or fucking like I'll do a list of things that I really want to do that don't have any kind of tie to anything that anybody else
Any outside, right?
And I'll go enjoy myself and have fun, and then I'll go to sleep, and I'll sleep for a really long time because I never get a chance to really like sleep.
Same.
Like moving around a lot. But that really kind of helps me reset my clock, and it makes my nerves a lot better, and it allows me to also have a kind of broader space to be able to deal with different types of people and their different
Energies.
Yes, and personalities. Because like it took me a long time to realize that I needed to do that in order to be able to be the calm Jade that I am now. Because before, like, I was every little thing, like I was reacting, and I had to like understand that energy kind of depletes your ability to be able to be successful because you're so focused on trying to react instead of sitting back, figuring it out, letting this person go on, and then focusing on what you need to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually handled that very well. My friends and family think that I'm superwoman sometimes because I don't react to anything. I think it has a lot to do with me I've been like a popular kid my whole life, and I was like fat my whole life, so people always talked about me. I was always in the spotlight. People always saying something about me, whether it be negative or positive. So I was always used to having things being said about me. And I have an amazing small circle of people who don't allow me to hear or see anything. I know it's being said, but I don't really know who's saying it. You know what I'm saying? The only time I know if somebody's saying it is if I'm speaking to that person, and then they'll be like, oh, no, you don't need to talk to that person. And I'll be like, what happened?
What they had said?
What happened? And I really I really have to give a lot of it to my relationship with God. I am a prayer warrior. I am let me talk to God right quick. I am big on my conversations with God. And I just have to know at the end of the day, I got a purpose. And I cannot allow anybody who does not understand my purpose, who doesn't understand my vision, to say anything to knock me off my square.
Right.
I keep my circle tight. I go to work and I go home, and I like movies. So I make sure that I'm in the house, and I will Netflix and chill by myself, and I definitely keep my conversations limited with people, and I know that it is my relationship and my foundation in God that keeps me centered, and I do not say anything. Silence sometimes is the best answer.
It is.
Oh yeah, most times.
It is.
Because don't get me wrong, it was a work in progress. As I was in college, I was a little different. I like to snatch somebody up.
Hello.
But as an adult, sometimes you just got to know, like, they gonna say something when it's good, they gonna say something when it's bad.
Yeah.
You got to take the good with the bad, because when it's good, you take it all. And it's thank you.
Yeah.
When it's bad.
Yeah, and it's like I've learned too, piggybacking off of what you said, that silence is the best punch to the gut of somebody that's trying to antagonize you.
It is.
And like you were saying, like when I was
natural
younger,
punch to the
like
gut.
and I
I've
was
tried it
reacting
before.
to things and doing certain stuff, it was like, okay, whatever. But it's like now that I'm older and I have assets, and I know now that I can get sued.
Okay, hello. It
I
hit
have
different.
to
Come on.
I have to respectively and quickly digress.
And quickly.
Yes,
quickly.
yes.
Heavy on the emphasis on the quickly.
You got it. You have it. God bless you. And you guys do your thing.
I feel that.
Then you got the goons on the side that go handle it.
Okay,
Oh
hello.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Gotta have that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna keep them in the back.
What about you, Santia?
I mean, so I'm very spiritual as well. So definitely, I think having that place of center whenever those moments come. But I also have a team. I have my mom and my brothers and everybody else that's protecting me that handle that for me. So by the time it gets to me, it's like, oh man, I forgot to tell you 2 weeks ago. I'm like, damn, you just now told me this. So like, I have like a whole long list of people that just,
So totem pole, you gotta go
they
here, then
surround
here.
me so that I don't gotta deal with that. And like back to what y'all was saying, like when you got something to lose, I don't even got time for that.
Right.
I don't got time to come down here all the way down here when I'm trying to go all the way up here. And I got too much going on. So I just always say I'm too busy to worry about this. And that's just what it is. So I don't be. It takes a lot for me to get mad. So unless you gonna push my mom or something, there's nothing you can say. Then being on social media since 2012 and having to deal with that, ain't nothing you can tell me because I built that thickness. I feel
Okay.
like,
So I can't say that I have
Do you
a
get
whole
mad?
lot
Do
of-
you get mad?
do I?
Okay.
I heard she got a feisty little attitude.
Okay.
I have an attitude. I'm a Taurus. I'm an island girl and I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
Tauruses are amazing.
Oh, absolutely we are. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, we don't. But I'm not a pushover by no means. Right.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I can see that.
But I'm gonna talk about my self-care first. Because it was just so good listening to you guys say all that you have to lose. And I kind of gave my power away sometime last year to a really messy situation. And, it was just a lesson. Like my whole life, I had never I've gotten out of character, but I'd never been in a physical fight ever. My whole life.
Wow.
Yeah, my whole life.
That's amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
I'm like,
adult?
damn.
And then you got to. I was about to say, because baby,
like not even.
You never got to a fight either?
You've never even like pinched a bitch.
No.
Okay,
Can you
hello?
imagine? Like I had never gotten, because I'm very.
I
so-
wish.
I have a, and I know this
You're
about.
feeling like a monster.
Right. And no, don't even say that,
I
because
got enough fingers, right?
I would, and this might sound crazy me saying this on camera, but I kind of just know who I come from. My dad is like super fearless, and I would hear stories when I was growing up. People would be like, "Yeah, we can't talk to you because of your father." I'm like, "What that mean?" Like the boys wouldn't want to talk to me. It's like, "Nah, your father catch bullets with his teeth." I'm like, "What kind of foolishness?"
Like lightning.
But no, for real. And I've seen even just the women in my family, like this is my dad's side, even like my mom's side. I have an aunt. She's like your size, your height. Her husband was 6'4". I watched her literally knock that man out, picked up a rock and knocked him out. So it's just like, I've always felt like whenever I was faced with probably getting in a fight, I'm like, nah, it's either I'm dying or you're dying.
Hello.
So it's never been, I want to fight. That has never been in my head. Like I immediately go to the worst case scenario. So for that reason, until last year, I've ended up it was just not okay. Obviously, because I have way more to lose than this person who antagonized me. And, it wasn't okay, right? And even though it wasn't okay that this person in my head, well, not in my head, because it actually happened, just made my peace just kind of disappear for months.
Right.
And that bothered me. It really bothered me. And I thought I was calm until I wasn't calm and I blacked out.
Can I interject right quick?
Yeah, of course.
Social media antagonizing is way different than face-to-face antagonizing.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Social media is way different than somebody actually in your personal space.
Right.
So don't know all the ins and outs of that.
Right.
But social media antagonizing
Right.
versus somebody in your space trying to knick-knack,
Right.
I don't know.
I strongly believe in boundaries, and I don't mess with people. I believe if somebody tells you to stop, you stop. I grew up knowing that if somebody says to stop, you stop. But that aside, I meditate.
Oh yeah, I do hot yoga too.
I meditate.
Hot yoga?
And
What's
I
that?
will.
So no, I'm sorry. It's
No,
like
go ahead.
They have it at Piedmont Park. It's like you sit out. I haven't seen them offer it in the winter, but you sit outside in the sun like during the summertime.
I love the
and it's like
sunshine.
the meditating and you sit and you stretch and you do like all the stuff, and, you know what I'm saying, all that. But it's really like a real release of any kind of like non-positive energy, and it just goes away and it clears your mind, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, I've meditated for a really long time. I want to say at this point, like 10 years. Okay. I've always been very spiritual. So for me, when I started meditating, it was just like, girl, when you pray, you also got to listen to what God had to say after.
Exactly.
So I will pray first and then I meditate, because then that gives me my stillness to actually hear, you know, what's coming through, right? And I also actually have a nonprofit that teaches Black and brown kids to meditate.
Dope.
So I think it's like such a big help for your mental.
Yeah.
It's the best thing I could have done for myself. Like, I started on YouTube University, child. You're gonna learn everything on YouTube University. But I definitely take that time. It's part of my lifestyle. I wake up in the morning, I pray, I meditate. Fridays, I try to just be at home with my dogs, chilling. That's been kind of my ritual for I don't even know how long, but miss me with being outside on a Friday. I like to
be in the house.
Got you.
So I want to say thank you guys for coming and hanging out and having this International Women's Month conversation. You guys, this been dope, right?
Yes.
It was nice.
This
It was
is
nice.
dope. This is dope. So, but before I wrap it up, I want each of you, like, if there's like a quote that sticks with you, like something that you want to say, like anything, a quote, a scripture, something that just sticks with you, if you can think of any.
Mine is, don't make yourself small. And I like to tell other women that, like, it doesn't matter what space you're in, don't ever make yourself small. People will accept you in the right spaces that you belong in. And then I have a scripture too. This me forgetting the scripture now.
It's all right. It's all right. Take your time. That's what we
I have
say,
a
right?
scripture.
Take your time.
What's your scripture?
My scripture is walk by faith, not by sight. That's my scripture.
Mine is be anxious for nothing, but everything through prayer and supplication, which essentially just means to be still and don't be anxious.
Okay. What's these?
My quote is, if you want to go get it. I feel like that's my motto for life. No matter what people are saying, what people are telling you can't do, no matter how many times you got to break and how many times you got to fall and pick yourself back up. If you want that, if that's what you really want, do what it takes and go get it.
My dad always used to tell me, if you start, you got to finish. If you feel in your heart that you're supposed to be doing something and you do everything that you should do to start it, just because it gets hard or it gets difficult does not mean you tap out. You started for a reason. You got to see it through and you got to finish it.
Okay. My quote is, to exist is to live. No.
It's something like that, right?
No.
Like something like that.
Okay. It is. It's to exist is to live, but to love is to be alive. And basically, like, what I took away from that when I first like learned that or whatever is, you're here, so you're here. You're breathing. You know, you have all your fingers and toes. You can walk and talk and see. But in order to really be alive and fully experience life, you have to experience love. Whether you're giving someone love or someone is giving it to you, in whatever capacity, it always makes a difference with the perspective that you're going to have. So I like loving and being alive.
Yes, you have
Yes.
such great energy. I love you.
Thank you, Jojo.
But yes, I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me for this evening, finding the
When
time.
are we going to do this again? Like
We
over,
We should make
like,
this
over
a thing.
mimosas
over
and,
food and
food.
mimosas and shit.
No, I'm saying,
bring
I'm
the
trying
mimosas.
to look. We
can
can
bring
set
the
it up.
food
Look,
too.
I got
Tell me, I can
all
bring
the
the food
contact information. We could just be in one big group chat.
Yeah, you need to start the
do it.
chat,
One big group
Jojo.
chat. We
I'm
can do
with
that.
it.
Okay, so I appreciate y'all. Tasha, Belle, Santia, Deck, Courtnay, Nicole, Baby Jade. It's Jojo Alonso. Thanks for tuning in. We out.